Welcome back to the SC Halfback Podcast. I'm your host, Matt Namosky. Welcome to another off-season pod. Again, with a team picker here. Our theme for today's team is the non-gun team. Now, I'm classifying four guns here. Harry Grant, Nathan Cleary, Nico Hynes, Kalen Ponga. Our team cannot include any four of those people. What can we fill out with this team without it? Let's get right into it. At hooker, obviously, we got no Harry Grant there. We're actually going to go for Reed Marnie here of the Bulldogs at 547K. With the Bulldogs this season, they should be improved. That forward pack, there's a little bit more stability on the edges and through the middle. I think Reed Marnie could have a bit of a bounce back year, so I'm happy to put him here in the team. And then on the bench, a guy that's coming up in a lot of our teams here, Jaden Brayley as the number 9 at the back. Could have gone for someone like a Reece Robson or an Appy Coruscant to partner him, but just like the value there, we can use that extra 200K elsewhere in this team, as you'll see shortly. Let's go to the front row forward. So obviously, a lot of options here we could go. You got your Tinos, your Payne Haasers, your Adam Blakes. We are going to go for Mitch Barnett of the New Zealand Warriors. 615K. You've got him at 2RF and at front row forward. Just like the ability to have both of them there. It gives me a little bit of flexibility here. Our second guy here is going to be from the Dolphins, Tom Flegler at 475K. Should be the leader of this pack. And I think what he will do this season is really expand his game. I think the offload will come out a little bit more. I think his tackle breaking ability is there. He had a pretty rough trip through the internationals there, but I think he'll come back better for that. So I do like that as my front row punch. In previous teams we've gone a bit cheaper there. Barnett having that dual flexibility, I think he's just a walking 60 with the way he plays. And then Tom Flegler, who can get up to that 55 to 57 mark in a good season. We'll go light on the bench here. So we're going to go to the Brisbane Broncos, Jaden Hunt. If he does get a bench spot, I do like him to get some impact and maybe get into that 33, 34 averaging mark to make about 100K for us there. And then we're going to go to the Newcastle Knights. Now, Miles Martin is someone who I have seen play. I don't think he will get a crack, but he's someone who, one, if there's injury pinches, he will potentially get a run. He's a dual, we can give for the flexibility, and we could have a one nothing here. I think the thing about doing this team where we're trying to spread this wealth here, going to have one guy there we can spread around. So the front row forward is going to be predicated on Jaden Hunt getting a bench spot, but then you obviously got those two guns there. We want to spread this money evenly around the teaming. So let's get into the second row forward here. So we're going to have our favorite on the show, Sean Lane, is going to be our first pick in the 2RF slot. I just think that he's going to hold tremendous value this year in terms of what he can do. Now, as you can see here, we've got a big list of 2RFs. Obviously, off Fido, Hopgood, Nakora, Eli Katoa. There's plenty of guys we can move around here and do what we want to do. I'm going to put in Keon Kulamatangi of the South Sydney Rabbitohs. I just think he's in for a bumper season. I do want to be a part of that and get him in my team where we can. The other guy is Ryan Madison of the Parramatta Eels at 636,000. So as you can see here, we've gone very heavy with two guns in our 2RF. There's reasons for that, as you'll see very shortly. Let's go to our bench. I want to keep some more flexibility here. Bunty Afoa at 309K of the New Zealand Warriors. 2RF front row forward. Again, a guy that can do a little bit of everything. I think we'll have a really nice season there for the Warriors. Let's keep going here. Now, as you'll see here, one of my strategies is going to be where, again, can we eat some value and get some decent players? And I've got two guys here I think that by the season's end will be big parts of the Dragons. I've got Toby and Ryan Couchman in this team. I like both of them. I think both on an edge will do a tremendous job for their team. And I just think that the Dragons are going to throw out some different options here. No Billy Burns. Obviously got Jaden Sewer. You got Jack Bird, who's slotted to start on the edge. If anything was to happen to any of those guys, I think these two Couchman boys will be straight in. So I do like having them there. And as you can see in that 2RF now, we've got Lane, Madison, Kulamatangi as our mains. A Foa who can come in and out. Obviously can push him into our front row forward and bring Barnett down. And we've got the two Couchman boys there. So I do like the way this team is starting to form here. Let's get into the halfback. So a couple of ways we can go here. You've obviously got Sean Johnson, Daly Cherry Evans, Mitch Moses. We're going to go Jerome Hughes here. Now, I could have put Eli Katoa in our 2RF to get a bit of a stack there. But I want to see clear. I just want to have Jerome Hughes in there. I think he's going to have a bumper season. And I think what that will allow us to do is to get a little bit more frisky with some of our options later on. All right, our next option here is Aiden Caesar of the West Tigers. If he does get the goal kicking, 345k dual as well. Just going to set us up nicely to have a bit of flexibility in this team with some key attacking playmakers from each of these teams. For the 5'8" slot, we're going to go straight to Dylan Brown. Let's go get the top guy in the position. And as you can see there, we've got Sean Lane, Madison, and Dylan Brown. There's our three Parramatta players locked in, loaded. And I think Dylan Brown just gives us a very nice play of what we can do here. Our second 5'8" slot, we're going to go to the Canberra Raiders. And we're going to go to KO Weeks at 273k. Someone who I think will be able to slot in if he does get that spot. If not, Ethan Strange is the straight in there. No problems there. Let's come back to the CTWs. I want to finish on the CTWs. Let's go to the fullbacks. And who we're going to go grab straight away. So we're going to go grab Tom Trbojevic as our first option. I just think Tom Turbo is in for a huge season. And if we can go lock him in early, get a huge start on the opposition, I love that option. And then with our second guy, let's go get Reece Walsh. So our fullback is just absolutely stacked right now. Turbo and Reece Walsh. I really like the way that really shapes us up. So let's go to the salaries to see how much we're playing with. So we've got 2.86 million in our cap ready to go get our CTWs. Now, I'm going to start with our bench. And obviously we'll switch this around just to see how much money we have to play with, because there's one guy, as I'm kind of doing this, I want to really get him in here. So let's go bring in some players. So a guy who I think can start for Manly is Tommy Talau, 287k. I do think he has the ability to go on that edge next to Ruben Garrick, which I would absolutely love to have. So I do like Tommy Talau if he does get the start there. The next guy is someone I've spoken about who I think can get the 2RF spot for the Newcastle Knights. That's Jed Cartwright at 238k. Again, a duel. Just love being able to snap up these duels and get them in, make a bit of a statement. Can get a lot of flexibility in a year we really need that. And again, we need probably someone to, let's get a cheapie in that may play a bit of a long shot, but I think we'll have an option if we can. So let's go to the South Sydney Rabbitohs. Let's go get Ethan Ferguson of the Rabbits. Someone who I've seen highlights of, looks electric. So really excited to see what he can do in first grade. So before we go up and see our remaining salary, let's just go get Xavier Savage. Let's bring him in. Obviously, similar to a Charlton Cook last year, he'll be in a lot of teams just because of that dual and that price point being at the starting fullback role. So I like that. And then let's go get another guy who I think has a chance to start and do a lot of damage on an edge, which is Bronson Sherry of the Bulldogs at 345k. So that's our CTWs. Now, as you can see there, I need two absolute guns to get us moving here. So if we go back up to our salary remaining, 1.39 million. You'll love to see it. So I'm just going to lock in straight away Valentine Holmes. And what Val Holmes does is absolutely gives us a weapon in that CTW with a great early start to the season. And what that leaves us with is 663,000. So as we're just going to scroll down here, you can probably picture who we're going to put straight in here. Joey Manu of the Sydney Roosters straight in at 652k. So what that now allows us to do, let's quickly make a little switch here. So Ethan Ferguson, let's chuck him on the bench for Joey Manu. Let's get Tommy Talau on the bench for Valentine Holmes. And let's get Judd Cartwright on the bench for Bronson Cherry. All right, so just to confirm, we've got 11k in the bank. Let's save the team and let's quickly go through this to wrap this podcast up. At hooker, Reed Marnie, Jaden Brayley, Mitch Barnett, Tom Flegler, Jaden Hunt, Miles Martin in the front row, Madison, Lane, Kulamatangi, both the Couchman boys and Afar in the 2RF, halfback Jerome Hughes, Aiden Caesar, 5'8", Dylan Brown, KO Weeks, centre wing, Val Holmes, Manu, Savage, Sherry, Talau, Cartwright, Ethan Ferguson, with Turbo and Walsh at the fullback slot. The goal for this one here is to show you that even without those four guns, there are options plenty in Supercoach this season. There, if you sacrifice one of those guns, you potentially get a bit of flexibility, save 200, 300k somewhere to look elsewhere. So hope you guys did enjoy this one. Again, just wanting to share the wealth. Some of these guns obviously will be in a lot of people's teams, but if you can break the bit of a mold there and go your own way, you might be able to get a couple of pods in your team. Leave it there, guys. Get to the socials at the SC Halfback. Thank you for listening. Have a nice day, and we'll hear from you soon. Cheers.